There's no doubt one of the biggest issues that prevents 50, 60, and 70 plusers from enjoying the incredible benefits of healthy, strength building, feel good physical activity is time. Whether you're still working or retired, time is often an issue. Hi, I'm Kevin, your host for Loving 50 Plus. Now, if you're like many of us, you'd like to be physically active, to get moving, walking, playing with the kids or grandkids, exploring new places on vacation, all with the energy to actually participate in your life. You know consistent physical activity is important. It's recommended by all the reputable health organizations. Time is the most common issue. What I did for many years myself was to strength train as soon as I got home from work. I made a cup of Maxwell House instant coffee. You know, you usually drank your dad's brand of coffee. And no, there were no Starbucks drive-thrus back in the 70s. But a good heaping spoon or two of Maxwell House caffeine got you going. And then, of course, I had benefited from all the protein and carbs I ate during the day. So when I got home, I had lots of energy and was ready to go. Now later, when my children were born, I was up early anyway. I strength trained in the morning before work. And yeah, I'd still had that great cup of Maxwell's coffee as an eye-opener. It did take a while to get used to the early hour. And I remember, I developed a kind of stealth lifting. Since at one time or another you would do anything not to wake your children, I trained very quietly. No grunting or groaning or clanging of iron plates. I was like a powerlifting ninja with slow, controlled repetitions, and I actually got away with it. Now, a lot of the nice folks I trained over the years often had issues with time. Not enough of it, too busy. And I remember a good example of a very busy person I trained was Irene. Irene taught, I think she taught at the community college for the best part. She was there for like 30 years. She had 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. I think one was off to college. The other members of her family, and I do remember this, included 2 dogs, a golden hamster named Goldie, how can you not remember that, and her husband. And the husband usually brings up the rear. Now, I remember Goldie because Irene actually wrote down what Goldie ate in her own food log, and I don't know why. But a mutual friend had trained with me at the health club, so Irene called and we set up a time to meet. During her health club orientation, we talked, and Irene told me she always seemed to be running around busy with life. But since turning 60, she just didn't have the energy she used to. Irene also noticed she felt flabbier. Her arms, legs, rear end were simply mushier than she was used to. Some of her friends says, hey, you're 60, comes with the territory. But since Irene was around people in her late teens and early 20s all day, well, it really started to bother her. So I asked her, what did she really want for herself? She confided she wanted to feel the energy she always had, to enjoy fun physical activity, to play tennis like she used to without aching the next day. And she definitely wanted her body to feel firm and strong again. Now, she was telling me that over the past few years, she'd try to go out for a walk when she had time. She'd walk the dogs, but it was really hit or miss. Between her career and caring for kids and husband and pets, Irene felt like many of us feel. There's just never any time. Now, because of her schedule, we met a few times at her home after she was off work, where I was introduced to dogs, husband, and even Goldie. Irene figured she'd be better able to stick to her physical activity program if it was home-based, and even secretly planned to entice her husband into joining her, and that's often the case. Now, even though Irene felt she was always running around, I pointed out, with all she accomplished in a day, she was very organized. And this was often the case. People juggle work or taking care of, their parents with health issues or babysitting grandkids and just get caught up in all the daily life stuff. But believe me, it's a very common issue that people see taking time for a healthy, invigorating walk, strength training to feel their muscles stretch and become stronger, or even yogaing up a storm. Is there such a word? You feel like they're taking time from their family. And you may be nodding your head. So we have to have a conversation about what would happen if, God forbid, you got sick. How would any of the things you take care of ever get done? People depend on you. You depend on you. And since that's the case, You're aware of the many health benefits of keeping yourself healthy, of decreasing your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. And with that thought process, you can walk, strength train, join a cardio dance class at the local Wire Health Club. And there's lots of other fun, healthy stuff with the result that you'll greatly increase your energy, firm up those arms, legs, and rear end, and not feel like you're taking anything from your loved ones. And sure, it's for you, but the result is a happier, more contented you. And that's extremely important for you and your family, right? I'll say it is. But come on, Kev, you might say, I am really busy and I can't find time for consistent physical activity. So how do other people do it? Well, the simplest step is to plan 15 minutes into your Monday schedule. I know not Monday, any other day, but Monday's a good place to start. Tell me this, how come you have time to wait in line at Dunkin' on the way to work for your Makimoto latte, whatever the heck it is? And no, I'm not suggesting you skip Dunkin' or do a set of 15 squats while waiting in line. On second thought, no, never mind. You'd get your Dunkin' order all messed up. What we want to avoid is you going to bed at the end of the day and thinking regretfully, oh, I was going to walk 15 minutes today, and maybe tomorrow. As you and I know, those maybe tomorrows just don't happen for you. Now, if you work during the day, you already have a specific time you wake up. It's a habit. Your body's used to it. First, your prayers for family, friends, and to hopefully stop conflicts worldwide. Then it's coffee or tea brewing, restroom visit. Now is a perfect time for a quick 15 minutes of strength-building, body-firming program. What do we got? Squats, wall push-ups, shoulder presses every other day. On alternate days, a 10-minute walk around the house, indoors and outdoors. Yes, you can get a good walk in if it's raining out and everything else indoors. Walk around the house. We've talked about that before. Anything to get your blood pumping. Now, if you're tired, I don't know, maybe you don't set an alarm clock, but it's basically the same thing. Prayers, coffee, tea brewing, and if you're like me, definitely a restroom visit. Now, before breakfast, you start your day with a simple 15-minute physical activity program. If you do miss a day, don't panic. Simply jump right back on your schedule the next day. It's vitally important. So what did our friend Irene do? She made the important step of scheduling time for physical activity. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she did a doable, quick 15-minute strength building program in the morning before work. She wanted to firm up quickly. She had it planned into her day, so she said it was, after a little bit, because it's got to be habit, really easy to keep up. Get this. It took a couple of weeks for her husband to notice how good she felt after exercising, and he soon joined in. That's really often the case. He called Irene his very personal trainer. On Tuesday and Thursday, after work and a day on the weekend, they started an easy 15-minute walk in the neighborhood. They really enjoyed their brisk walking during the week, so did the dogs, and soon found themselves trying the regular, a 30-minute walk, on one of their weekend jaunts. There was no pain, there was no strain, but just a big gain in health, strength, muscle firmness, and energy. Now, as you can see, if you're starting out, the secret is not to try to find the time. I found over the years that people who successfully follow a consistent physical activity program and reap the many physical and mental benefits actually schedule small blocks of time. Okay, first things first. Just to be on the safe side, and here at Loving 50 Plus, we always like to be on the safe side, start with a checkup with your doctor. The usual blood pressure, you know the rest. Irene and her husband did it. And yes, even though my children are grown, I still strength train in the morning. It's just a good habit. It's easy to keep up for me. Now, thanks for watching our Loving 50 Plus episode, and I appreciate you being here, and you're welcome to join us at Loving 50 Plus. Would you please subscribe and keep us going? If you have a minute, leave a comment. I got to know what you're thinking. And maybe a thumbs up like. Remember, what you want for your body, your life, is what Loving 50 Plus is all about. I'm Kevin, your host. See you in our next video, and please take care of yourself.